Welcome everyone to What's Happening in Crypto, bringing you all of the latest from the crypto world and beyond. Today's top stories: the apocalypse is upon us. What can you do to avert the end of everything? Sirin Labs releases their phone, and Tron is eating Ethereum's lunch. Let's get into it. The G20 countries are calling for cryptocurrency taxation and solid regulation to fight money laundering. Oh man, I am so tired of the money laundering phantom. Honestly, the banks just keep on doing money laundering and they just get slapped on the wrist when they get caught. Bad bank, bad bank. Okay, now you do me. Yeah, but Bitcoin's always the bad guy, right? Anyway, I digress. The main item here is the cross-border taxation system, which was proposed at the G20. While still in the most nascent stages of its development, this will represent a strong shift and focus of the world's biggest economies on to cryptocurrency, particularly cryptocurrency cross-border payments. Oh, so much tax. Taxed on your income, taxed on money when you send it overseas, taxed when you go and buy something with it. Oh, yeah. The fook tax, man. What is up with that? Anyway, the group-wide taxation standards will be discussed further in 2019 in Japan. The good news here, I suppose, is that the biggest economies in the world are talking about cryptocurrency at the highest levels of government, and that it was one of the key focuses of the G20 meeting and will be a key focus next year as well. And as much as it pains me to say it, we need regulatory certainty. We need to see more services being developed. We need to see more players getting involved, and they're not going to do that until we have some kind of certainty. And yet at the same time, it is quite interesting to see that governments are really taking note of the cryptocurrency industry. We made it, guys. Because for the first time, governments are having their absolute authority and monopoly over monetary issuance challenged in a serious way. Tron has announced a $100 million blockchain gaming fund. This fund is being dubbed Tron Arcade. The fund aimed at giving really developers the tools and the money that they need to build on top of Tron. This money will be spent over the next 3 years. The gaming market is really seen by the Tron team as a crucial element of their future success. Another huge development from the guys over at Tron this week is the announcement that Tron will be implementing ZK Snark technology early next year. This will allow, of course, for private transactions on the Tron blockchain. The official date will be announced in an updated roadmap, which is promised by the end of the year. And both of these separately are big news, huge together for Tron, and of course are positive steps in the development of the platform. As a side note though, and quite amusingly, Justin Sun and Vitalik Buterin have been trading jabs over on Twitter. And the tough reality right now for Vitalik is that Tron is scaling, and Justin Sun is publicly calling for more projects to leave Ethereum and to move over to Tron. The pressure has never been greater for Ethereum than it is right now to scale and to do it quickly. Onto Matrix AI. In an effort to boost community participation, they are launching an ecosystem development fund. Now, the aim of the fund is to help incentivize people to lock some of their tokens up. If you want to commit, you need to have 100,000 man for 6 months. There is good percentage returns offered in return for doing that. This will not only serve to, of course, incentivize the ecosystem, but will reward the long-term holders of the cryptocurrency with extra tokens. And speaking of artificial intelligence, SingularityNet's Ben Gortzel will be on Joe Rogan's podcast on the 4th of December. If you've ever heard Ben speak, he's a bit of a character, so it should be quite entertaining. And while SingularityNet, Ben, and Sophia the robot are generally quite good at getting really great media coverage, this will be a nice little feather in the cap for the guys over at SingularityNet in terms of great media exposure for the company, since Joe Rogan's podcast is so gosh darn big. One of the biggest ICOs of 2017, Sirin Labs, has delivered their blockchain phone called Finis. Sirin Labs has received big brand endorsement, of course, from Lionel Messi in the past, which helped propel Sirin Labs really into a major spotlight. The phone costs around $1,000 and includes a built-in hardware wallet, as well as a decentralized exchange for Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Sirin Labs tokens, and will feature AI-driven cybersecurity, plus a built-in decentralized application store. The phone is being billed as a one-stop shop for blockchain, basically intended on making it super easy to onboard new blockchain users. Now, in terms of being able to properly review the phone, well, I don't have one, but I'd love to get one in my hands one of these days, and we can do maybe a more proper tech-style review on it. But my concern, or perhaps thought, is that is it a little bit too late for Sirin Labs, considering that PundiX is releasing a phone in the very near future, that HTC, huge company, is also launching a blockchain phone very soon. And this is, of course, without taking into consideration the serious power of Samsung and Apple in the market, and of convincing people that a blockchain phone is something that is necessary and will improve their lives. That is going to be a challenge in taking this from really a very niche market idea to the mainstream. If Sirin Labs can get the marketing right, if they can reach the right audience, it could be really, really big. Would you buy the Finis? Do you think it is worth $1,000? Let me know about it down below in the comment section. And finally, a story from Condé Nast Traveler, a source I never thought I would reference. Crazy day. But they are reporting on a World Wildlife Foundation report that shows in the last 45 years, human activity has been responsible for the death of 60% of the Earth's wildlife. Shocking. A few takeaways: 20% of the Amazon, gone. 50% of coral reefs, see you later. And a staggering reduction, of course, in the overall number of mammals, birds, fish, reptiles, and amphibians on the planet. And almost all of this has been due to human activity. Worryingly, we see only around 25% of the land globally free from human impact at this moment. This number is scheduled to drop down to 10% by 2050. We need drastic action now to turn the tide around for our environment, and it is not going to be something that politicians are going to do. Politicians have little ambition past the next election cycle and are generally unable to see or at least legislate for the big picture, or are simply bought corporate lapdogs, so you can't rely on them. We as individuals have so much more power to affect these kind of things than we give ourselves credit for, and the impact of every consumer has a strong, resounding impact. Choose locally produced food when it is possible. Choose ethical clothing. Usually the extra cost is actually worth it in terms of the quality that you might get versus buying a $5 t-shirt. Reduce your consumption of animal products, or even consider going plant-based. Super popular right now, guys. Support local merchants and not the mega corporations when and where possible. And try to be an active consumer. If you don't like something, or maybe you want to see something being offered, well, tell your local store. Go in and say, hey, to the manager, I would like to buy this, or write to the head office of that company. Companies often want to sell things, and if you tell them what you want to buy, they may just sell it to you. Crazy concept. Now, outside of personal consumer choice, things like a transparent land registry system based on the blockchain cannot come fast enough. This has been a huge problem globally as indigenous and poor communities, totally disenfranchised, are often unable to prove land ownership and are forced off of their land by the robber barons. This situation is most pronounced in places like Indonesia and Brazil, where corruption and theft from the poor go hand in hand. Supply chain management can also have a massive impact on the overall picture. Just imagine right now 1/3 of all food produced is thrown away. Just think about that. 1/3 of all animals killed die for no reason. 1/3 of all delivery trucks deliver food for no reason. 1/3 of all crops are grown, sprayed, and harvested for no reason. 1/3 of the land growing crops or animals could be freed up and returned to forest because we are simply throwing the food that is grown there away. It's mind-boggling. Now, if blockchain-based supply chain solutions could improve this situation even by 1%, the impact would be huge globally. The time to act was actually yesterday. The question is, though, what will we do tomorrow to help prevent the worst results? Anyway, just my 2 satoshis on the matter, guys. You'll let me know what you think about this and the other news stories down below in the comment section. Thumbs up the video if you enjoyed it. Subscribe to the channel if you are new around here. If you'd like to stay up to date with what is happening in crypto, hit that notification bell down below. You guys are super awesome. I love you all. Long live the blockchain. And peace out till next time.